Workplace violence hits home. Are you ready? My name is Drew McKown, and today I'll be talking to you about workplace violence. Today we're going to start off with some statistics on workplace violence. According to the FBI, 80% of active shooter situations happen in the workplace. And out of those situations, 25% of companies are not prepared for an active shooter situation. Over 2 million people every year are affected in some form of workplace violence. Now, this does not mean that they are deadly injured, but that means that there is some type of assault on them. In 2014, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Stats, 409 people were fatally injured in some type of workplace violence situation. The case study we will be talking about today is a company called Digital Logistics Systems. They are located in Pleasantville, and in this town they have never dealt with any situation like this. This is the first incident they have come across of workplace violence, and due to that, they are not quite sure how to handle it. The people we will be talking about today will be Tom Ross, the advertising and promotions manager, who was sitting in on the meeting where the incident took place. During the incident, Sarah Davis, who is the head of the HR department, was walking by to her car and happened to overhear everything that happened. The two employees in question are Edgar and Peter. These are the two employees that had a heated debate in a meeting and caused this incident, which we will talk about further. Here are the facts. Two employees were in a verbal and physical altercation, Peter and Edgar. The reason for this altercation was Peter and Edgar both felt that they deserved a promotion. This position had currently become available due to one of the employees helping make the position available. Therefore, they thought they were entitled. The two both had good points why they thought they deserved the position, but instead of talking about it in a reasonable manner, during the meeting, they got in each other's face, started arguing, which turned into shoving. Everybody in the meeting ended up leaving because they felt uncomfortable and did not know what to do in the situation. The company did not have a workplace violence plan on hand, so the company had no way to handle this and had nothing to look back on. The HR manager, Sarah, overheard the altercation. This actually was a good thing. Because she overheard the altercation, she will later in this scenario be able to help Tom decide what to do. Tom, the department chair, was in the room during the incident and did not know how to interact. So what he did is, after it became physical, he stood up and got in between both employees and asked them to step away. The problems that we find in this case study are: two employees were in an altercation. The reason of the altercation is not of the importance, but in how we handle and go forward from here. The other problem was there were no guidelines on how to handle this incident. So not only do we have two employees who just had a very, very serious argument, which turned from yelling and screaming into a physical altercation, but now we have no way to handle this. We don't have any guidelines to go off of. And the third problem we face is how to handle the situation so that it did not escalate further. After this incident, Tom goes back to his office and starts to look up statistics on workplace violence. He then finds out that altercations such as this have led to incidences where employees will come back to the workplace and, in worst case scenarios, murder or kill multiple employees because of rage. There was an incident, as many people know, they refer to as going postal because of the man who did that exact thing. Solutions to this problem. Sarah, the HR manager, had spoken to Tom in her office the next morning. What she suggested was he do after a conversation was that he sit down with each employee and let them know that they would have a letter in their file stating the incident and what happened. This is the minimum that she recommended, which I think is correct. Since there was no plan in place, each employee will get a written warning that will stay on their permanent file. That way they understand the severity of the situation, and hopefully they understand that this type of behavior will not be tolerated in the future. The next solution is evaluate the stats of the employees discreetly to ensure safety. What this means is Tom and Sarah both, after this incident, need to keep, not close tabs, but monitor each employee to make sure that they move past this event, and to make sure that they do not have sudden mood changes, develop any strange habits or things that make other employees in the office feel uncomfortable. What this could mean is they could have underlying issues that are causing them to obsess over this issue, which could cause, or which could lead into a much more violent altercation. And the third solution is make a workplace violence prevention plan for the company. Because of this incident, it brought to the company's attention that they did not have a workplace violence strategy. And as Sarah and Tom both found out, they needed one in place so that they would know how to handle the situation. Analyzing the solutions. What does this course of action really mean? What does the letter on file mean to these employees? What this means is not only do they know that this happened, but future employers or managers or anyone they work for can see this in their file. This should make them more conscientious of how they act and how they interact with others, letting them know that flying off the handle, so to speak, will not be tolerated and there will be repercussions for their actions. How to monitor the situation. I believe that Sarah, the HR manager, should monitor the situation discreetly, currently checking in with Tom since he is the department chair and works with them the most to make sure that everything is going smoothly and that they have moved past the altercation. If not, then they should come up with a course of action that helps each employee and make sure that the environment is safe for everyone. And the last step, what steps are needed to be taken to start the process of making a workplace violence prevention strategy for the company? What this is going to take is it's going to take Sarah, the HR manager, and Tom. They're going to have to go to the higher ups in the company and discuss with them what happened. Sarah will, in my opinion, need Tom's help convincing them that they're going to need a workplace prevention strategy, because in the quiet town of Pleasantville, they had never had anything like this happen, and they always thought that it only happened in other places, not in a quiet, sleepy little town as their own. My conclusion for this case study. Is Sarah's plan of action suitable for the situation? I believe her plan of action is extremely suitable for the situation. Not only because each employee needs to have some type of record on file stating what happened, but I believe there should not be a more severe consequence only because there was not a strategy previously in place. So these employees had never been given a seminar or had never been taught that this would not be acceptable. Now, as business professionals, we should all know that this is not a way that you act in the workplace, but because of the lack of guidelines from the company, I believe this is an appropriate course of action. Monitoring Peter and Edgar. I believe that monitoring these two employees is not only best for them, but best for the safety of everyone in the organization. They just need to keep a check on their mental health and the way that they interact with everyone to make sure later months or later on through the years that it becomes a hostile work environment. Because as the case study stated, some of these employees have been with the company for a very, very long time, so they feel very passionately about their work, and they feel like they have direct ties to the company. So to make sure everybody is safe and healthy in the environment, I believe that they should, check on the status of both of these employees. Making a workplace violence prevention plan. The conclusion on this will not be an easy task to take up to senior management, because as Sarah and Tom both believe that this would never happen in a small town as their own. So the senior members probably would think that as well, if not even more so. So it will probably take Tom's vision of what happened, along with Sarah's expertise in HR management, to explain to them what happened, tell them how they felt about the situation, and how it affected all the other employees in the company. If needed, they may need to have short statements written from different people that were in the meeting, so that there is written proof and record that this situation did happen, so that they can document it and take this altercation to make a workplace violence prevention plan. These are some of the resources that I used for my presentation. I hope that my case study was helpful for all of you, and thank you for watching.